Boy, oh boy.
It ain't Saban's Alabama anymore.
No, it is not.
This ain't your daddy's Alabama.
This is not, or your daddy's Alabama either. I mean, it is a wild time down there. But Caleb was a guy as soon as he gets there.
Yeah.
So when that Ohio State gets him plucked up there, it's like we got the best player in all college football on the defense side, wins a national championship, couldn't try to do it again. It's like he's the guy. And Matt Patricia knows he has that. And now it's like, if you can keep that culture on that defensive side, especially Big Ten football, you can really confuse and beat people up, especially if you're going to continue to get Ohio State-type athletes. Good for them. Let's talk about that Alabama team.
Boy, do we have to? Don't do it.
Dan Orlovsky said he counted 21 loafs.
Yeah.
What?
That means you would have to watch every single game, every single player, every single play.
And he did.
Every single player.
21? Hey, that's why he's the GOAT.
Counted 21 loafs on Alabama State. Now,
Traitors!
You got to watch 21 traitors is how Rich Rodriguez would describe that. But I think that was the biggest takeaway. Is like not only are they losing to Florida State, who's completely reloaded.
Yes.
Completely. And teams have been able to be very good whenever they use the transfer portal hard and get the right guys in there. Thomas Castellanos, right guy.
Yeah.
Right guy. Everybody else, insanely athletic. They brought in 5 new offensive linemen. Felt like Thomas had some time. They brought in D linemen. Felt like they were getting to the quarterback. Felt like who they brought in, big, fast, very athletic. And Thomas Castellanos has to give the entire team a lot of confidence, especially whenever he comes out and says, "I ain't got Saban there anymore. I don't know who the fuck's going to stop me." Basically.
He said that?
Said that. Then he comes in, and now he's got shirts that say, like, Nick can't save him, basically.
Sweet.
It was a wild thing to
this
say,
dude.
especially because Alabama still most 5 stars committed to the 2026, still got like one of the best offensive lines in all of college ball, still got 5 stars and blue chips all across the board. Kalen DeBoer, also another year in his culture. He gets his offensive coordinator back that he had at Washington and he had at Indiana whenever they had a bunch of success. It's like, this is going to be the Alabama team. And then you're watching it, it's like, that's Alabama?
They got
Yeah,
bullied.
Beat up.
Yeah.
Lazy.
Yeah.
Lazy. Wearing the Alabama stuff. It's like, is there not 4 or 5 stars behind every one of those guys waiting to take their spot? Like, you want to loaf and be lazy, you better be a fucking Heisman winner. If you're just another guy on the team, there's 4 guys behind you that are willing to sprint full speed, even if they're not going to make the play. It's like all those things kind of made, I think, not only Alabama fans, who are obviously disgusted, now they're making up stories. I hear guys are getting DoorDash fast food 1 a.m. day of game.
At the hotel.
Not the hotel. They're walking around in flip-flops after curfew. Nobody's saying anything. It's
Their friends are there.
Who knows?
TikTok.
Yeah, it's like all these things. It's like now, if this continues, those are only going to get more and more because Saban created a standard there.
Yes.
And that is one standard. You're going to go. And if we're going to play like ass, there's only going to be one reaction when you show me on camera. Says blue polo guy. I don't want to hear it.
That was awesome.
Legend. Waited for his moment.
Then he moves along.
I like Kalen DeBoer a lot, and we don't know how he is like in practice and behind closed doors, but it seems like he's just emotionless on the sidelines. You guys always talk about looking behind you. Vinny always thinking, hey, I got to do it. Like Saban, those guys were scared to death at all times, so they always performed with that hard edge or whatever. It seems like they just don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's what Alabama fans are saying.
Yeah.
And we're going to stop giving a shit.
Right?
I'm going to stop giving a piss.
Yeah. How much do you think Kalen DeBoer needs to be worried about keeping his job this year? Right after the game, we saw that, hey, his buyout, $70 million. Are we looking at hey, Alabama needs to go to the playoff this year, or he's likely out, or how do you see this whole situation panning out?
I don't know if it's that. I don't know where we are with him. I mean, that's my national championship pick. You think Saturday was bad for Bama? Imagine picking them to win the title, and then that gets thrown in your face. I think the new reality of college football, is for big-time programs, Bama, Ohio State, Georgia, etc., you're used to there being a really high floor. So, like, the worst case under Nick Saban ever was going to be 9 wins. Kirby at Georgia, worst it could ever get is like 8 or 9 wins. That's what you think. That's not the reality anymore. So you're driving down the interstate still, same interstate, but there's no guardrails, there's no median. It's just edge of a cliff both ways. Florida State found this out last year, by the way, where if a tire falls off, there's no limit to how bad it can get. Like, you think Bama can't miss a bowl game. They absolutely could miss a bowl game, or he could get the ship righted. But your question is, does he need to be worried about his job? Dude, he needs to be worried about the competitive character of his team. There's a big difference in, Arch Manning, a little inaccurate. Or, your guys miss assignments, they drop balls. like the fundamental competitive character being called into question. Running backs stoning your linebackers in basic run fits, can't shed that stuff. Turning down blocks in some cases, dropping balls left and right, not because you just misjudged it, but because you maybe turned it down over the middle of the field. That's like non-negotiable stuff. That's stuff you took for granted under Nick Saban. It's stuff I take for granted, frankly, as a viewer from every major program. So that stuff, if it doesn't get corrected, I don't even know what the answer is. Like $70 million is not even a real number to me. That's monopoly money. I don't know what the answer there is. I just know that high floor is not in existence anymore. So there's no limit to how bad it can get. If that stuff doesn't get corrected, you don't look down the road to Georgia. You don't look past this Saturday. I don't care if you're favored by 5 touchdowns. You don't look past the next opponent. And we've just been so accustomed to being able to do that with these big-time programs. I don't know that you can do that right now.
Josh, I don't know if you saw, obviously, the pictures of Coach Saban's office and then Kalen's office, obviously drastically different. And then Kalen, the way he goes about doing stuff versus how Saban goes about doing stuff, multiple different ways of doing things. You know, like there's a lot of that had to happen. And following Coach Saban at Alabama would be like trying to follow Coach Corso on College Game Day. Okay? That'd be a very, very difficult task, I think, with all parties. Let alone the fact Saban still lives there, still has an office in the building, and obviously is still very prevalent in college football world because he is great on television on College Game Day. So everything he's saying on College Game Day, Alabama fans are like, yep, that's what's being said, hopefully, to the boys. That's what's being said right now, because that's what it has been. But what Kalen DeBoer is doing is trying to build his own legacy at Alabama. And he's going to be compared to this guy, who is not this guy is out of some never-ever land.
Yeah,
this guy. Unbelievable competitive stamina and an incredible ability to lead, adapt, evolve, listen, let alone gut decisions. Just in the moment, being able to make a decision that nobody else. I'm changing quarterbacks halftime national championship, actually. Bang, putting another guy in here. Multiple times I'm going to do that, actually. And then let alone who goes where, how he recruited. It's like Kalen had a very tall task of becoming an SEC coach to begin with, okay? That's tough conference. From Washington coming in there. But then to follow the guy, actually, and then now he is the guy on TV for college football, seemingly an impossible job. Is he going to be able to? He's had success. When he was a D3 coach, had success. Indiana had success. Washington has success. We assume he's going to win, but is that the right assumption, I guess, would be the question for you, who's kind of down in the middle of it all down there in the South?
I had the same assumption. I still think the dude's a stud. Like, I think he's a winner. I mean, I've sat in that renovated office and point blank asked him, taking over for a legend. Not the stuff you say on TV, like we're off the record, just shoot with me. That guy's got a lot of intensity. He's got the right mentality. Like, the right mentality is this. All right, in college football and sports for a long time, that thing you just said has existed. 99%ers out there say, boy, you don't want to take over for a legend. Well, 99%ers aren't qualified for the Alabama job anyway. So by default, you have to be a 1%er. You have to be different. You have to mentally be wired a little different. He is. The big secret in college football has always been, you don't want to take over for a legend because of the situation the legend left. Paterno at Penn State, forget about the off-the-field stuff, just him on the field. Yeah, he was a legendary coach, but the program had waned by the time he stepped away. So if you took the Penn State job, if you took FSU post-Bowden, you were taking sky-high expectations with a rebuild on your hands. Saban's last game at Alabama was a playoff game. So he left a pretty full cupboard. He left a really good situation. So guys like DeBoer look at it and say, well, I mean, forget about the expectations. Forget about people saying take over for a legend, this and that. I think I'm really good too. And so I look in the mirror. I think if I'm given the right resources, I can build my own legacy. And I think he may have taken a dive into the SEC waters and realized, boy, there's something beneath those shark fins. Like, there's a little something more to this conference than I thought there was. But more so than that, dude, Pat, if you're just getting out executed, if you're getting beat by 3 at the gun, that happened to Saban occasionally. It's not that. It's the non-negotiable stuff. He didn't have to question this at Washington. You didn't have to question toughness about his Washington teams. So that's what I wonder about. That's why it's such a mystery to me. I went and watched him scrimmage twice. I went and watched him in spring. I watched him a couple of weeks ago. I had no inclination that FSU result was even possible. It was
maybe just bad day. Rain was hard, you know. Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer were out there shirtless.
Sure.
You know, Maybe it's just a bad night. Maybe they just laid an egg on opening night. Maybe they just didn't have energy on opening night. Maybe they just didn't have maximum focus on opening night. Maybe that's just what it is. Maybe this is the one game, breakfast ball.
Yeah, breakfast ball.
Maybe they need a breakfast ball. Should we give up on Alabama or no?
No, I'm not going to give up on them. But look, hey, God gives us 11 more games. So if you're right, you'll see it. Like they got Wisconsin coming in. They go to Georgia in less than a month. So if that's just a one-off, which I have suspicions about, but let's just grant the floor to you. It is your show. If it's a one-off, we're going to find out really, really quickly.
I don't think it's a one-off. I am just living in hypotheticals.
Sure.
I did not like what I saw either.
No.
And I don't think that's just something you can fix, which is why I say some things about some players in the NFL, and people get mad at me for pointing out the obvious, and then they say, still can change. It's like, I don't know. That feels like something that you either got or you don't. But if the team can flip the script after getting embarrassed by Florida State, who might be all the way back, maybe Kalen DeBoer makes his own legacy, Donner. Maybe he's got a DeBoer Street, Donner.
That'd be cool.
Maybe he's the GOAT, Donner.
The Boulevard.
Yeah, maybe it is the Boulevard.
Oh,
right down Kalen the Boulevard right here. Yeah, that would be great. Kalen the Boulevard.
Boom.
Yeah, that is a great street name. I mean, that would be fantastic.